Greetings, everyone. Welcome. I'm so excited to see you and so excited to be sharing this panel that we're going to be doing. It's my very, very first panel. We're going to be talking about activating your 5D self, how to live a more blissful life without actually having to leave your 3D body. So I guess we're going to be talking about being fifth dimensional angelic beings in a 3D world. So I am your host, Joan of Angels. Allow me to introduce myself. I am an intuitive guide, a soul awakening specialist, soul mastery wisdom, and the host of this broadcast. You can get more information about me at my website, joanofangels.com, where you can get a free ebook. And also, if you are new to my channel, please like, subscribe, and share, because that's how we get out our famous and fabulous content, which is original. So let us know where you're from, guys. Be sure to post your comments and questions as we get started. So to my guests, I'm going to start by introducing the topic, the fifth dimension, a new place of consciousness, where we are going to be able, where soul realization starts to occur. And we really refer to it more as a plane. It's not an actual place we can get to by putting it into MapQuest. We can get into it by shifting our consciousness. And that is what we're going to talk about with our guests today. So we have three guests. Celestine is coming on. We'll probably see her in a minute, but we'll start with Victoria. Victoria, why don't you, we have Victoria Reynolds, we have Claire Candy Hough, and we have Celestine Starr, who's just emerging as we speak. So I think that's a huge intro to the fifth dimension. So Victoria is the founder of Fearless and Free. Why don't you tell us, we're going to start everyone with like a minute about who you are, what makes you qualified to talk about 5D, and then what you think 5D actually is. And I'll give each of you maybe 7 minutes. So we'll start with Victoria, then I'll introduce the next one, and then we'll go from there. Okay? So welcome, great. Victoria. I'm so happy to see you.
Hi, Joan. It's so great to be here and to be with you as always. So who am I? I'm a spiritual luminary and a heart healer. And I'm also what I call a drop down, which is a little bit different than a walk-in, in that my personality self is still here with me. My eighth dimensional self has embodied in this body. So rather than I walk in where one soul steps out and another soul steps in, my higher self has stepped down into this body and taken over my human experience. So my personality self and I have wrangled over who gets to drive the bus for a while. She finally let me drive the bus. So my eighth dimensional self is embodied in this body. I have the ability to communicate directly with source and with ascended masters and with the angelic realm. So a lot of the information I bring through comes from the angelic realm. And I said from source itself. So you wanted me to talk a little bit about what the fifth dimension is for me.
Yeah.
It is a realm of consciousness that we all have access to once we start peeling off the layers of who we are not. So every one of us is love having a human experience. We learn fear. And as we learn fear, our vibration lowers down into this 3D density that much of humanity is now moving out of. It's a fear-based reality. We agreed as a collective of souls to experience the contrast of light and dark, love and fear. And so this fear-based reality we've been living in, it wasn't ever intended to be so fear entrenched, which is what it has become. However, fear is an excellent medium for growth. And so the souls have descended, if you will, into this human experience to learn through this incredible mechanism, this compost of fear, if you will, for us to learn through. Now we're moving into a phase where as a collective of souls, we're finished with this learning experience. And now we're moving into heaven on earth, as our religions have called it, heaven on earth, peace on earth. That is what this fifth dimension is. It actually is us bringing heaven into the human experience.
I love that. And I like the way you talk about us like bringing this experience in and the heart based experience of it. And also that fear based reality wasn't meant to be entrenched. And I never forget a reading I had where she said, no, it wasn't actually, we didn't mean it to be so hard for you, Joan, when they apologized to me. And that's what you brought up for me. All right. Well, we'll be getting back to you, Victoria. Thank you. So now we'll hear from Claire, who is a definite walk-in, an angelic walk-in. And the same question for you. What makes it so that you can talk about the fifth dimension? Where'd you come from, I guess? Fifth dimension above, but and then what's your thought about what the fifth dimension might be?
Well, let me introduce myself. I'm a Reiki master teacher. I established my business 19 years ago now, which is Angel Healing House, which is at angelhealinghouse.com. I am a clairvoyant. I'm a sort of an angel reader, all of those wonderful things. I teach Reiki on all levels. Past life clearings, past life healings. My newest service is twin flame energetic reconnection. This is for the majority of people who it's very rare to have your twin flame as I do on this earth plane. And so I connect them with their twin flame across the veil so that they can love, they can feel them, they can help them with their projects, all of those things. I am qualified because I walked in from the 12th dimension, from the angelic realm on January 11th of 2003. I had a 100% complete soul exchange in which the former soul of Claire Candy, who was traumatized and led a very tortured, anorexic, and suicidal life, couldn't keep her life force energy going anymore. And it was so important since the harmonic convergence of 1987 for every soul to keep their light force energy high so that we could get to this place of ascension. So I come in with spiritual knowledge. I come in with this more than the spiritual knowledge. It's I help others to reconnect to their divine eternal natures. I don't teach them as much as help them to remember their powerful, sovereign, multidimensional natures, which is something which is their divine inheritance. This is not something that somebody can give you. No guru or shaman or any spiritual teacher can give them this. This is something that they already have, and for them to reawaken to. What is the fifth dimension? Well, it's several dimensions down from where my home is, but that's the next level to where humans or the collective are finding themselves going. It's a level where there is no fighting. There is no separation. There is no division. There is no competition, things that under a dark matrix we were programmed to have, where the collective and where we all become unified and we work and we collaborate together to build those structures and systems in those cities of light. The cities of light are right above the physical now, and they're ready to drop in. And each of us doing this work can hold that vibrational frequency to create those cities of light for them to drop in, for everyone to be of greatest contribution at this time, is to hold that light and to know that they're not here by happen chance. They contracted to be here at this time for their contribution to the fifth dimension. And it's very exciting. As I said to Joan before I came on, it's very exciting to be in this physical body at this time. We just need not to get caught up in the last dark crumbs which are being swept away by that chaos and that drama that we're seeing. But that shouldn't affect our beautiful high vibrational level to be able to create these cities of light. And we work and we collaborate together. So that's a little bit why I just need to add that I'm also a several-time #1 Amazon International best-selling author with my books, One True Home Behind the Veil of Forgetfulness, and I am an angelic walk-in, the autobiography of Angel Ariel. So there you go.
Wow. Whoa. I'm going to give you a heartfelt clap. That was great. for several reasons. One of the things I loved most was your comment about the last vestigial crumbs of the lower energies that we're just, cleaning up. And I was telling Claire, I'll tell everyone else, that I really feel the pandemic has been an ascension tool, a tool for ascension. If we use it wisely, it's really been the tool for a new transformation of our society. So meanwhile, guys, make sure to put your comments and let us know where you're from and any feedback or any questions for my guest. And we are going to get to our third panelist, Celestine Starr. In fact, we have a show that's going to be released next week with her, and we call her the Woman of Divine Grace. And she possesses a lot of wisdom for us. So, Celestine, okay, what makes you uniquely qualified to talk about the fifth dimension? In other words, who are you? And a little bit about what you might think of the 5D when we get there.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Joan of Angel. I absolutely adore you. I love that you're stepping out and bringing this information to everyone. So I am a celestial being, and I know that I am incarnated in a biological unit. I've come here on the planet. My goal and my work is to keep the way sacred and to assist in the elevation of consciousness. So that is why I am here. And the work that I do has steadily been this process. I was born into a metaphysical family. So it was like the mystery school. And I learned so much about Hermeticism, alchemy, the metaphysics, the sciences, the esoteric sciences. So I was groomed for this purpose, even though it was a little bit difficult working with arcane magic and the consciousness of wanting to control creation. It just wasn't who I was, but I did learn. I took the time to learn, and eventually went on my own search for what is really true. So at the age, let's say in my 20s or so, I went on that search, and it took 20 years. I opened Temple of Light in 1986 and began offering powwow, medicine wheels. I had been trained in my Native American by beautiful Ruby Sky. She taught me the way of the star people and the medicine. But always it had been there for me through my Egyptian heritage and my Egyptian background. My mother was very, very much into teaching the old ways, and I still access it now. So opening the Temple of Light was very powerful for me because I was sharing and opening up my mystical qualities, who I am, but it led me also into doing the deep inner processes. I was near 980 acres of prime forest. It was the Miwoks Pomo Indian Vision Quest, but little did I know, after years of being an optician, being in the corporate world and the business world, running with billionaires and millionaires and saying goodbye, that I would be placed before the High Council. So the place that I was guided to live high up in the mountains opened the way to being with the Galactics. And so I spent the next 15 years, I was doing trance channeling. I ended up becoming a hypnotherapist, alchemist, alchemical hypnotherapist, and working a lot with taking people into the 980 acres so they could process their stuff into the universe, that connection with nature. I had had a near-death experience at 6, went through the light into the Godhead. So I carried that with me in my little medicine basket. And so I'm what they would call a woman of many seeds that I can offer to the world. The Galactics brought me into a place of becoming an ambassador. So from that time in the 1980s, I've been working with them to actually make people aware that they never left. And I've written a book. Now it's called Galactic Earth Council, the reintegration of Starkin and Earthkin, or rather Earthkin and Starkin. And it really goes in depth on my journey of awakening, coming back into full realization of who I am, to step in as the Syrian sister of Isis, Nephthys. And this is my last walk with all of you. So many blessings to you all. And doing the work here continues as I came down the mountain after spending time with Babaji, Yeshi Sojo, the immortals appear. I was in tune with understanding frequency. And so your question about what is the fifth dimension, I would say it is a frequency. And the fifth dimension moves across from third to, the groundedness of materialism, but yet that's a frequency too. Our frequency used to be 7.83, but according to the Schumann resonance, it is no more. We're up in the 300s, we're up in the thousands vibrational frequencies. So this field that we live in is actually interfacing already with a higher dimension. And in doing so, it opens up our brains, our biological units are prepared to interact. And when I came back from my near-death experience, I was fully operational. And I could tell you I had to shut down parts of myself just to be with everyone. But now we can open up and we can carry more light, as Claire and Victoria spoke about. But it's really, for me, about different levels of frequency. The fourth dimension to me is very abstract. It's time and space, it's color, it's things that are abstract in one's mind, like the astral plane, I would say. Things where you can formulate forms and such, but it is not structured so that you can be stationary there. It just keeps moving. Timelines, shifting timelines, the timelines that the earth is on, the two timelines, one going over the cliff and one coming up into evolution. So that's what I would say. I'm so honored to be here. And again, I want to say the frequencies have risen so high that we are already in the higher frequencies, and it's enabling us, should we choose, to bring our focus to the right side of our brain so that we can open to the celestial parts of ourselves. I do offer galactic origin sessions and celestial activations. This is for those people, celestial activations for people who kind of know what they're going through. They're ending up the trauma, pain, processing, polishing the mirror, becoming diamonds, recognizing their divinity, need a little bit more guidance. I can go where you go. I have students of metaphysics. I have students who want to understand different aspects of creation and privately connect with their celestial being. We have galactic origin sessions, which takes you back to the first time you came to Earth and imagining yourself. I come before your divinity, because when you go past the barrier of 10,500 years, you then come into realization of who you truly are. Your contracts, agreements. Where did you come from? Some people from light, some people from sound, some people from angelic realms, some people from planetary systems. Everybody's different, but that is allowing you to access your divinity. So I'm so excited. I've met thousands of people who have gone through the process, all walks of life. And so welcome to the fifth dimension. We're already here, and just keeps going higher.
Wow. Very profound, Celestine, your wisdom, your history, your heritage, all coming to this moment in time, which you're saying is really your last walk on your soul path here on this planet. And it's interesting because I see the fifth dimension as where all of this comes together for us, where we start to live in our more celestial side. And so, guys, I just want to share a little bit about me for a second, is that I was a practicing chiropractor for many, many years until I lost everything. And in that process, I really turned to spirit and launched a Miracle Makers Club with my children, because we knew we needed miracles in our life. And from that moment on, I really never looked back. And about 7 years ago, I received the guidance to paint 33 angels in 30 days, which really launched me into my pursuit of the fifth dimension and beyond, because I really wanted to know then, what was this new consciousness? What were these beings I was channeling? And what in the world were they meaning that I had to keep raising my vibration to work with them? And so in a sense, they trained me to come to the table, and fast forward, here we are just discussing this higher frequency, but yet we're still living on this 3D world. And so it's been quite a conundrum, and we're all kind of very special beings. So let's continue on our discussion with the fifth dimension. And what qualities of the fifth dimension, how do you like what are the signs that we're in the fifth dimension? I know, Celestine, you said we're already in the 5D, but let's go around in the same order we started. What are the signs, Victoria, that you might say that we're in the fifth dimension?
Well, you're in not necessarily a continual state of bliss, but yeah, most of the time. It's really at a place where you love the human experience. Love being, it doesn't mean that we don't have bad days, because we still have bad days or unpleasant days, let's put it that way. And there still are unpleasant experiences, but for me, it's looking around my world and just being in love with the entire human experience. The higher self that I am is I'm an embodied Elohim. I didn't say that. I find human beings to be just fascinating. They're such amazing creatures, and they have no idea how brilliant they are and how extraordinary they are and what they're really capable of. And in this 5D world is bliss. It is love. It is, this fear ceases to exist, except for as, maybe don't step out in front of that car because you might get hit, kind of thing. But this whole belief the competition ceases to exist, that lack ceases to exist, and this understanding that all of that really was just a story. None of that is even real. That division isn't real. Fear is just, it's the old saying, false evidence appearing real. That fear really is just our imagination, and that the competition was created to keep us from finding our true essence and what we're truly capable of. And when we're in this fifth dimensional frequency, we see what is really possible for humanity and this extraordinarily beautiful planet that we live on, and how extraordinary every single one of us are. And this, it gets a little frustrating sometimes, because it's like wanting everyone to understand what they're really capable of as divine love having a human experience, as divine light having a human experience, and that we're all that. And when we get to the point where every one of us understands that we are all that, everyone gets to experience heaven on earth, and everyone gets to experience this extraordinary bliss that's available. To me, that's what 5D is just holding in this heaven on earth. It's what it is.
Love that. Well said, Victoria. Heaven on earth, living in that consciousness, no worries. Not like those human concerns aren't that important to us. Thank you. Claire, what would you add to that, or what's your take on this?
Oh, through my business, Angel Healing House, my practice for almost the last 20 years since I walked in, I've heard from clients that it's absolutely transformative when they understand that if they're no longer triggered, they're no longer reactive by anything. If something happens, it's great. If something doesn't happen, it's great. There's no more anger, bitterness, resentment, regret, judgment, blame, shame, guilt, unforgiveness. That doesn't exist. There is no competition. I did a wonderful program last week, actually just this last Thursday, my radio program, called I Wish You Well, No Matter What.
Mm-hmm.
And when we can wish somebody well and really are happy for their success, we're happy for them, no matter what their beliefs are, no matter what their health choices are, because we would like somebody to wish ourselves well, no matter what our beliefs are. Well, they're allowed to have their beliefs as well. And it's this acceptance of each other. We know, we see you, we see the divinity in you underneath your choices. And that's what the fifth dimension is. It's living in this unification, regardless of, somebody's beliefs or health choices, or that doesn't matter. What matters is we're all one. We see the divinity in every person. We know that we're here to, our strength is our unification, to be able to collaborate and to connect. And then through the sum of the parts is greater than the whole, because then we bring forth a planet which is for the greatest good of everyone and the greatest good of all concerned. So it's living, yes, as Victoria said, in this bliss, but more so, I would like to add to that that we live in wonderment and enchantment. You know, as each moment is a treasure, it's like a gift for us to unwrap. And we do that. We do that through our gifts and our talents and our faith and our connection to the creator God source, which everyone was made in the reflection of that. So we get to play in the physical fields of matter with this higher dimensional frequency. And so that's what I help my clients with, once they understand that if they get to the stage where their identity and their how they feel has nothing to do with anything externally, then they recapture their joy and their absolute enthusiasm, their passion for being who they are, because it's such a special energy. When we cross over out of the trillions of souls in the world, when we take off this funny little meat suit, as I call it, then we can be easily identified by this very special, unique energy that we are. And if we bring that forth on the earth plane, we know that we're not in competition with anybody, and that we just each need to hold that beautiful, special vibration of ours. And then on the other side of that, the more we authentically, honestly, openly, and transparently bring that forth, miracles happen as a result of that, because we connect with the divinity inside of ourselves, that special spark of creator source. And that's what the fifth dimensional reality and experience has been for myself and my clients over the last almost 20 years.
Wow, that's very, very profound. I think you did add to Victoria's comments in the same way. There is bliss, but there's reality too. We learn to live here in this higher frequency state of mind. Really very profound, Claire. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
So, yeah, Celestine, how would you add to that? What's your thoughts on all of this? And yes, we're melting our audience with joy, and that is the blissfulness of the fifth dimension, as opposed to the fear-based three reality, which would get us all depressed. So,
Thank Goddess.
Thank Goddess is right.
Well, I'm holding the bliss, and everything that you've said, both you, Victoria, and Claire, just really brought it home. For me, I want to say living in the fifth dimension is about transformation, because it is leaving almost the humanness behind, in a sense, integrating it into a higher state of reality. When I process so many people, it's polishing the diamond, right? You become that diamond, you become that divinity. And so the vibrational frequency of a divine being holds energy of love and truth, compassion, balance. And these higher qualities of self begin to come out. So a lot of people, as I said, they're coming to the close of that. They're stepping into the reality of their divinity. So I say there is the creator, the divinity, and the human. That's the Holy Trinity. It becomes the philosopher's stone when you have them fully awakened, where they say, okay, as Claire, as Victoria, you mentioned, you're becoming one with yourself. You stepped in and your higher self is coming into being. My sorcial self came into me 5 years ago, and it has been an integration. Those are higher states of frequencies even yet. And they're teaching me now how to live 100% as a human in the light body, so that I'm more in my light body than in my human body. So I believe that for each person is very different. The walk is different, and we support each other as we go through this transformation. Some people, it is painful to stretch. For some men, opening the heart is painful. I've sat with men and they said, my heart is opening, it's so painful. Oh, but then once they get it open, they're like, I love it, and they're able to access a higher state of love than just seeing with the eyes and wanting and so these transformative realities are so individual for each person, but stepping into the divinity in order to function in this higher frequency, it's we're being guided to awaken as many as we can to the divinity. Once the divinity is aware, it's not just I'm divine and I can, we're all divine beings, but really getting it inside, deep in there. I am divine, and I am committed to walking on this planet as a divinity, and I am committed to letting you see me as a divine being. You have these beautiful women here who are so divine and so committed, and we have passed the barrier where we can be accepted. I can walk into my village, into my town, and they say, there's Star, she holds the space of priestess and she holds the space of divinity, and we're not going to be hung or burned or whatever. So those times are past. And so it's okay to step into that state of being. So I think it's really, there's physical things that happen to enable you to carry more light. It's the deep process. If you haven't done processing to get rid of the pain and the suffering that's going on from any time, past lives, whatever it may be, now is the time, because you just cannot hold it.
Yeah.
As Claire was saying, you cannot hold a lower frequency and try to be it's just going to shake you loose until you do say, Uncle, I'm done, Auntie, let me go, and looking at that,
Right.
whether you like it or not. But if you look at it in the sense of why did you create that, that is empowering. Then it goes in your gree bag as I mastered suffering. I mastered abuse. I mastered alienation. I mastered that my parents were there and I had to figure it out on my own.
Yeah.
You mastered it. You see it in the world. You know how to help somebody because that's what was given to you through your own experience. So now we take our gree bag, our bag of miracles, and we share it into the world, and we share it. And also the other thing is that the right and left brain, I used to do neurosensory development. I was an optician, but I moved into quantum science with that. Laser technology in the brain to help balance the hypothalamus, and it runs down the spine. But what it does is it awakens you. It awakens the body and the brain. So when you have the body awakening and you have the right brain and the left brain, rationality, science, whatever, along with spirituality. There are so many people now say I'm clairvoyant, I can hear voices, but now the teaching is how to discern those that are of only for the goodness of all. How do we discern? Well, if someone is calling you from an inner plane and you want to channel, you want to make sure that they're asking you for the benefit of all. That's when you know you could go forward. These are angelic conscious beings. And eventually you learn for yourself that whatever I'm doing, whatever you're doing, if you do it for the benefit of all, you have unified your mind and your heart and your soul and your spirit into oneness. And so that's what we're looking at in the fifth dimension, is a unified field of consciousness, leaving behind the reverse consciousness of I need, I want, it's mine, I could grab. We need the healing of that on the planet. And this is what we're here for today. Thank you, Joan.
I actually loved what you said, Celestine Star, about polishing everyone. The Greek word for educo does not mean education. It simply does not mean education. It means to lead forth. Education on this planet always has been indoctrination for somebody else's mostly dark agenda. But what we're doing now is we're finding the diamond, that beautiful gem in everybody. and we're polishing it so that they can shine their brightest to be that light for others as well. And that's why there is no competition. That's why there is no, being afraid or in lack or scarcity, as somebody is going to take away that which is yours. So if we can see it as that, if we can see it as leading forth that what I've always called our divine eternal natures that is underneath everything. And why when we strip everything else away, then this beautiful diamond shines forth for each and every one of us.
Beautiful.
Very beautiful. So, I don't know how one adds to all of this. I'll tell you, I know when I'm in the fifth dimension, when my heart is singing. And when my heart is singing, it's because everything is in that state of perfection. Like I remember taking my kids to a nursery school, and I watched that nursery school, and suddenly my heart was so singing. I wanted to be a kid there again. And the week before, my heart had thudded. So that heart singing feeling is an awakening moment for me. And I also know that one of the things for me is constantly working on shifting my own energetic frequency. Oh, and another way we know it is, of course, and I think you mentioned it, Celestine, this, and you did too, this element of service to others, that we know we're here not just for our own glorification and our own security, but we care if Victoria or Claire or Celestine also gets there. So it's like we turn around, and maybe I'm saying the wrong thing, but we're always turning around and going, okay, I'm holding the door open for you now. Come on up. Let go of all that baggage. Come on in. Girls. The door is open. The veils are gone. And just like, holy moly, just like let's all go together. And the other thing I think about is that the 3D world right now is in such a conundrum. Such bad seeds down there, such bad juju, and such things that could fracture your soul if you weren't grounded in a higher frequency consciousness. And so I think that's another prompt I had for this panel today was, okay, let's really be specific. What does it feel like? What does it look like? How can we get there? Because we want all of you guys back there to come and play with us in the fifth dimension and beyond. Oh, and you also reminded me, Celestine, I was in a class yesterday, a trance class, and I met this new spirit guide. And I said, well, who are you? What's your name? And she said, I'm Joan of Angels. Oh my God. I went, what? And she said, yes, I'm Joan of Angel, and I'm here to teach you how to hold the frequency of who you are. It's time now. I guess they thought I'd been messing around long enough. She said, I am here to actually guide you specifically on how to be that crystalline Joan of Archangel energy, which all of you are, the three of us. I see it with Claire, Victoria, Celestine, myself. We all have another persona. Even Victoria came out with a new name this week that she finally was guided to start using, or a new consciousness. So let's talk about when we get to, how do we get to this fifth dimension then, and what changes do we go through? So we'll start again.
Well, I was just going to mention, watch your words. You said bad juju, Joan. And everything we say now is like taking a chisel and a hammer and hammering it into granite. You are here. You contracted to be here. In my book, One True Home Behind the Veil of Forgetfulness, I talk about the importance of soul contracts. This is such a blessing of a time on the planet. This is such an extraordinarily wonderful time. And by saying something like BAD, it brings the frequency down. Watch your words.
Good thing we have those magic erasers, right?
And it's so insidious. Can I erase this little, they have the words down here. But you're very right. And our words lower.
Here's white out.
We need some heart white out, because we're all guilty of this. It's very, very easy to use those words. And so I appreciate that, Claire.
Programmed. We have.
All right. So Victoria, what are we going to hear from you? And tell us the names that you were encouraged to really let everyone know.
Oh, well, it's not that I started using a new name. So I've known since 2011 that I am Victoria Elohim of Freedom. I've
Say it
known that.
again.
I
Wait,
just
what?
haven't.
Who are
Elohim,
you?
Victoria Elohim of Freedom.
Say it one more
Yeah.
time, please.
I've known that since 2011. It has just taken me a long time to finish coming out of the spiritual closet, because 10 years ago it was so unusual for people to admit that they're not an ordinary human being. So and I was told 10 years ago there would come a time when humanity had evolved enough to be able to accept this. So, and I have to thank Claire Candy for assisting me in this process. I'm like, man, if she can do it, I can too.
I've been doing this since 2003.
Yeah,
Can you imagine
part of the reason it took me so long is because I was living in a very 3D family, and didn't feel ready yet within my own home to say who I am, because my husband, as I call him now, my husband, was not ready to accept me that way. And I needed to make some changes in my home environment before I was ready to fully step into all that I'm here to be. And I have said on a few other shows who I am, but this coming out completely in all of me as who I am is what I was shown by my team, as I call them, over this past weekend of, you know what? It's time to just be all that. So all of my branding is going to be changing to just let people know that this is who I am. I am here on behalf of the freedom of humanity. When I incarnate on planet Earth, it is specifically for the freedom of humanity. That's I was myself, my divine self is one of the creators of this world. And so I incarnate here when humanity needs me. With regard to what it takes to get to 5D, that occurs in 4D. That processing the human experience, processing the human story, what I call processing your pain story, is a necessary part of the process to get to 5D. There seems to be this misperception that we can just jump from 3D to 5D and take all of our baggage with us, but it doesn't work that way. In order to arrive at 5D, we need to let go of the 3D baggage, which sometimes actually includes baggage from previous lifetimes. So we need to process all of our baggage from previous lifetimes, and primarily from this lifetime, in order to arrive, or rather bring in, this fifth dimensional frequency of pure love. And so this 4D, this fourth dimension, is the bridge, or it's a lot of people refer to it as the bridge between 3D and 5D. I consider it more of this. It actually goes up this way. It's a spiritual spiral that we go up, and we take steps through this spiritual spiral. And at each step, we stop and process a little bit more, go up a little, process a little bit more. So it's a process. Now, what's great about that is that 10 years, 20 years ago, it took a long time to go through this process. Now with so much light and so much love and so many healers and so much new technologies that have come into the human experience, those who are newly awakening are climbing the spiritual spiral faster. It's like light speed. This is what I was being shown 2 years ago, that humanity is moving into light speed, and this spiraling up the spiritual spiral can now happen in months, weeks, and days that used to take years. What it requires, though, is a willingness to look at all of our stuff, all of our baggage, juice it for every lesson it has to teach us, squeeze everything out of it, and learn to love even the most painful parts of it. Then those experiences, as Celestine said, we master them. They become part of our so I'm seeing like this this bag, right, of all of our the bag of gold that we carry around with us. Those are all of our experiences that we've learned how to infuse love into. They're no longer baggage. I refer to them all the time as being that they go from being this bags that we drag around behind us to becoming the power that gives us the wings to fly, that actually is the wind beneath our wings. We don't get to spiritually bypass that experience. So many people want to spiritually bypass the 4D, and sorry guys, it's part of the process. It's not always fun. It's not always easy. It can be very painful depending on how attached we are to our past story. Well, we got to do the work. That's how we get past. The only way past it is through it.
So that's how we get into the 5th, by dealing with our stuff in the 4th.
Yep.
And get creative. That's a very good analogy, Victoria. Very well said. What would you like to add to that? And congratulations. I did know that that name was given to you years ago, Victoria, but you had claimed it. And that was something Celestine had said, this claiming of who we are, that takes either a moment, or took me years. It took you 10 years. So that congratulations.
Thank you.
I want to hear you say it over and over and over again. I just love it. Just love it. Shout it from the rooftops. All right. So Claire, what say you about all of this?
Well, I've been doing this since January the 11th of 2003, and I didn't give, excuse the expression, a rat's ass what anybody thought about me. I am Angel Ariel. I incarnated in this body, the tortured, traumatized body of Claire Candy. And yes, I did have those people that said, demon whore, you are going to go straight to hell, and what have you. I don't care, to get to that stage, to know thyself, know who you are. And I don't, if somebody believes this, that's fine. I've actually had several licensed psychotherapists say that I do not have dissociative disorder, and that they said I have had an actual soul exchange, taking on a different character, a different personality, different tastes, all those things. And by the way, Earth Angels are very different from angelic walk-ins. Earth Angels still need to process and release their karma. I came in as from the 12th dimension, where I had processed and done all of that work before. Maybe that was, and so I didn't have any karma to be have to process. Or maybe that was because it was easier for me just to show up. But I loved what Victoria said about our painful parts. Our most important lessons that we come back in these physical bodies is for our soul's growth. And we learn those things through hardships and adversity and contrast. If the lessons came easy, our soul would not grow. We wouldn't take any notice of it. And we might as well stay across the veil, where there is only love. And, there is not any duality or dualistic things that we learn from. And that needs to come in adversity and hardship to learn our lessons. And so we really have to bring full closure to all of those things. I've helped many clients to go back to their past life with past life clearings and ancestral healings, to see where that lineage is that they keep sabotaging and limiting themselves, in order to bring full closure, unconditional love, and forgiveness for the blessing of learning those lessons. Now, through Angel Healing House, again, for the past almost 20 years, the 5 most important tenets that help us to get to that stage, to be able to release those things and to be able to remain in the higher dimensional frequencies are these. Number 1 is responsibility. For every person, place, thing, and situation that we've ever had, we contracted for that to be in our life. It's not there by happen chance. It's not random or anything like that. We've done that in order to learn our lessons. And the more every one of us has contributed one way or another to what is going on the planet now, and the more we can accept responsibility and accountability for that, the more we then release the burden of blame and shame and fault finding and guilt, and then we become lighter. Once we take 100% responsibility and accountability for our lives and everything that has appeared, every person, place, and thing, the second comes in very easy, which is forgiveness. And forgiveness is not I forgive you, because that still apportions blame. It's please forgive me. Even if we can't figure out what we've done, it's the Ho'oponopono prayer. It's the please forgive me. I'm sorry. Thank you. I love you. And the more we say that, the more we do take that responsibility on ourselves, and we lift the burden of unforgiveness off of our souls. The third is non-judgment. We wouldn't want anybody to judge us on our beliefs and our health choices, the things that we do. So judge ye not, that ye be judged yourself. And the fourth is gratitude and appreciation for everything that happens. If something happens that you wanted, bless it. If something didn't happen that you wanted, bless it, because the amount of times I have a spiritual school across the veil. This is what I do when I am not in this physical form. And I help people to understand that if something didn't happen, it was the most extraordinary protective measure for them in order. And we can see this a lot of times in retrospect. Thank goodness that didn't happen, because then this was able to come in, or it worked out so much better. So gratitude and appreciation for our blessings makes your vibrational frequency raise into the higher dimensions. And of course, the fifth is unconditional love, because we all come from that divine, absolutely loving, cherished source, which is Creator God source. We were all made in that reflection and that image. So if you practice those 5 very important tenets, which Angel Healing House has always been built on, you raise your vibrational frequency, and you can't help but be existing in the higher dimensions.
Oh, Joan, you're muted. You're muted.
Okay, you didn't hear it. Well, I said all the brilliant things already, and I expect you have all to have picked it up telepathically, because we're moving now from the fifth all the way up dimensional frequency. And so it is. Now, seriously, Claire, that, you reminded us that, yeah, the pain is necessary. The difficult childhoods or whatever we've had that maybe was not to our liking have all served as those lessons that we so badly need to kind of course correct as we shift into our higher frequency awareness. So I really appreciated that. And I love what you're telling us that your Angel Healing House is based on. All right, Celestine.
Yes, dear. Would you like me to add on to that?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. That's why we hired you here.
Oh, I love it. I love
dimensional
everything. Yes, focusing in on the journey. It is the journey. To love the journey and appreciate every step that you're taking towards this higher state of being. In alchemy, there are the 7 steps, and the forces of creation move through you, whether it's burning down your house, your relationship. You pick up the pieces, you look at them and say, what will I make out of this, But looking at the charred burns of the self, this was my house, this was my family, this is my relationships. But letting the winds blow through these supreme forces, allowing you to then realize I need to polish my mirror as we're speaking. And the 4 steps of going through calcinization and dissolution and bringing yourself together enable you then to take that final step into a state of a higher frequency minded being. But just entering the gates of the 5th dimension, as everyone is calling it, the universe is going to break you down again. And you're going to go through a cycle of breaking down and making sure that every part of you is shaken loose. I mean, they can get into every crack and ninny and see every place that needs to come forth and be healed within the self. And so as you go through these distillation, you are being distilled. You are the container in which the alchemical process continues to formulate. Fermenting, understanding, brewing through health and business and relationships, all these things enable you to be in the world and experience life. And life is what will churn the molecules in the energy field and bring forth the different layers that need to be concerned or polished or refined or distilled. And as you become distilled, and I'm looking here at these beautiful women who have distilled themselves into a state of perfected state to be present as divine beings, and still the forces play upon us, but we have learned to stand still in the wind. We have the ridge pole that is there for us. We cannot be moved. And we look into the reverse darkness, or that which is the breaking down of realities. And we honor it as what it is meant for. And we look at the energies that build up, and yet we stay centered in the love is centered. And so this pattern, this understanding that you're in an alchemical process, I would suggest strongly to look into the books on the alchemical process, the emotional and mental and spiritual process of alchemy, to help you understand the supreme forces that are working in your life. And once you understand that, you know where you are, and it becomes easier. Also, you can look into the universal principles of creation. For instance, that there is a rhythm to everything. There's a season. We may spring all the way over here to love, then it could be hate, but then you learn to stay in the middle, you see, and understand that that life is, there's an intelligence. There's an intelligence of your human self. There's an intelligence that interfaces with creation. There's an intelligence that is creation within the whole makeup of the self. You have many selves. You've got the little self. You've got the 15-year-old rebel. You've got the king and you've got the princess. So all of these things have to be brought, don't have to be, but I suggest strongly in order to polish yourself to a place where you can stand as a ridgepole in your life. So we look at the little one and we rescue her. I have rescued my little one so many times. We look at the 15-year-old, the rebellious one. Okay, you're not ruling my life. Okay, I got this. But you have a new job, and that's to go shopping. Loves to go shopping. So you formulate understandings of yourself, as they say in the temple, know thyself. And in knowing thyself, really getting in there and looking at personalities. Perhaps there's an entity lurking around that's kind of on the shoulders or within the self, that sabotager, the protector that pushes people away, these kind of things that are locking you in to a place where you cannot move forward in life. And so not being able to move forward and be your total self, free of any burdens, open to feel the preciousness of being here on the planet. Those are giving you cue cards. Go check it out. Go see what that is about. So having a particular practitioner that you could trust, whether they're shamanic or through hypnotherapy or processing, you have somebody that you can really trust and allow them to open your psyche. Not someone who can sit and listen to you talk about your problems or your realization and there's nothing further going on, but someone who could just say, okay, we see this as a pattern. Now, why are you creating that? It could be something that's so traumatic you can't believe it. But the question is, why are you creating that? And so I tell people to look at their purpose. Is it something that's personal? Have you created it so you understand and you learn something personal to yourself? Or are you on a mission for the whole of it? So maybe it's both. Maybe you had to learn abuse so that you could gain compassion or understand the lower nature of humanity. So many people are learning the lower nature of humanity. They become compassionate. They do you. In other words, you walk through the battlefield so you can be trusted. Yes. So they learn that, and then they go upon their mission. And we're all here having our mission to serve humanity, to help people to understand and to come out of suffering and pain. So looking at these two things, there's ways of releasing it out of the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body. Forgiveness releases it out of the mental body. Tones and sounds and frequencies release it out of the emotional body. Okay. And touching and moving and vibrating and getting into those nadis and those shiatsu points and the acupuncture points release the body, the energy field in the body. So know thyself would be one thing. The other is to go into nature, okay? Because notice when you're in your home and you look around and you see everything you see is a projection of your heart. All your heart's desire is before you at every time. Every person you know, just like Clara was speaking, everybody you know, there's no way around it. That's there. Now walk into a forest and sit for a moment. And everything is before you. It's a little different. You see, nature doesn't ask anything of you. And when you put yourself in nature, there's something that happens within you. There's nothing to desire but to be. You begin to recognize, you begin to feel the pulse of the earth. When you hear the birds singing and you can understand they're talking to you, they're giving you angelic frequencies. That is the medicine of creation. The walking of the leaves, the sound of the leaves under your feet, that is nature's frequencies to heal your body, to strengthen you for whatever is to come. So I find that nature is a place where you can go and leave everything behind and just be present. It strengthens you. Stand by the shore and feel the roar of that energy coming thousands of miles, these waves, and then listen to the waves hit the shore. And that roar, what is it going? That will strengthen. So you begin to learn about the forces of nature that are in your life and be able to utilize them. Because as you become in a state of divinity, these natural forces, you can call upon them to help you cleanse, to help you free the energy of the body, to help you sustain your breath. Taking a breath, that's a breath of life. You know, it's not just a breath. You're not just breathing, you know, taking a breath of life. Where is it going in your body? Slowing down. So these are the ways to move oneself into a position where you can raise the frequency naturally. You can use sound and tones. There's beautiful people doing bowls, you know, the singing bowls. Go to some of these healing therapies where they say, lay down, let me play these bowls for you. These frequencies will open your heart. First time I had the Tibetan bowls, yeah, my heart opened and golden pink light poured forth. I'm like, what's coming out of my heart? This is just a natural thing. So I would say, you know, look to the practitioners, do some sound healing on yourself, determine what really suits you. You can go up on YouTube. They have plenty of 528 hertz, you know, 438 hertz. And just, you know, I myself on Galactic Earth Council YouTube, I put the 1212. There are 10 sacred tones. And it takes you through a process, 179 all the way up to 976. Let me see if I said those numbers right, the hertz. But anyway, there's 10 sacred tones that take you through a process, and you can hear them. They're pure. They don't have music overlay, so that you can feel it in yourself, and it'll help you to resonate. And after a while, you'll find yourself naturally resonating and being drawn towards more illuminated states of being and illuminated states of lifestyle. And so that's what I would say, my beautiful Joan.
Wow. You offered a whole toolkit of ways that we can naturally lift up our own vibration. And I wanted to add to that. First of all, we're in extraordinary times right now on our planet. And as we said, the veils are thin. In fact, in some places, maybe not even there. So more and more people have it. it's more possible for more people to access this ascension, high vibrational place. I think Victoria started saying people are hungry for this information. They're all out there going, okay, I know something's going on. I know something's going on. And they're so ready to do this. And that's what I think makes it's not even work. I mean, I don't feel like I work. I'm only doing things that I love. And for me, that is fifth dimension, that what I do on the planet is what I love. And I'm in that love frequency 24/7. I can't think of things that I do actually that I don't love. I'd have to really be hard pressed to go, what don't I love that I have to do? And I don't think there's anything that I have to do. So that's because of the life choices that I've made, or that each of us have that ability to make. So we're coming sort of closing out in a couple of minutes. I want everyone here to talk about how you specifically help people get to the fifth dimension, and how they can reach you. So
I'm assuming we're starting with me again.
I'm a creature of, so patterns. I don't know. I'm not going to break this pattern.
No, this is great. So the best way to reach me is on my website, victoriareynolds.com. I have 4 books that help people process whatever issues they might be navigating. I have a process called the transcendence process. This is what at the time when I wrote this book 10 years ago was that my higher self gave me. And it's an interesting conversation to be having, because there are 2 aspects of me. There's my personality self, and then there's my Elohim essence. So my personality self was learning how to process her life, her pain story, in order to prepare this vessel for me, Victoria, to inhabit this body. So it's been an interesting experience for me, because unlike Claire Candy, where I was a step down rather than a soul swap, I've been navigating Margaret, who is my personality self, navigating her life experiences. So the transcendence process is a process that I use, that I teach students to process their own life stories, so that those stories then become their power stories rather than their pain stories. I also do one-on-one sessions as well for people who want to go dive deeper into their own life issues and resolve whatever those issues are that they're needing to navigate, whether it's family issues or past pain issues, whatever it is that they're dealing with. I communicate with their higher selves and with the higher selves of others involved in the issue to help them resolve those issues with a combination of spiritual psychology. And so that is what I offer people on my channel. And I also have my Fearless and Free TV, where I bring in messages on behalf of humanity from source, from sometimes with other ascended masters and other angels. And then I interview a lot of other really interesting human beings who are sharing their gifts on my show.
And you do a great job of it, Victoria, I'd like to mention.
Thank you.
So thank you on behalf of those. Fearless and Free is just beautiful. All right. So thank you, love. So we're going to hear from Claire.
Well, you can contact me at my almost 20-year-old business in this lifetime. I have a spiritual school as such. It's Angel Healing House, which is angelhealinghouse.com. That phone number is 831-277-3716 in beautiful Santa Monica, California. So it's Pacific Standard Time. And I help people all over the world through my online sessions as well. Through my sessions, people get to see their life from an angel's perspective. They go into the Akashic records. We see why they chose certain people, why they chose certain abusive events, why they chose incest, why they need to karmically atone for something that they did in a previous life. Through my healings, which the posse of angels, this is the angelic family. We are 537 strong. And that number must remain 537 for the vibrational energy that it holds. It's not just Reiki energy healing, it's 12th dimensional angelic healing that comes through that is so transformative for to really give my clients back to themselves. Because in the 5th dimension, there's nothing more important than being ourselves. I just want to, and another way that you can contact me is through my YouTube, which is my Claire Candy Hough. I'm not hard to find. Put my name in, and 5 or 6 full pages come up to me. You come up on the internet for me. I've been doing this for 20 years, nonstop, full time. Through my book, Angels of Faith, based on my 2 near-death experiences, that we don't die and we are divine and eternal. I'd like to recite a small poem. This is how important it is to be yourself. And it's just called the Angel Poem. An angel once drew near to me and said in heavenly voice, I will give you but one wish. Pray, what will be your choice? I said, my godly messenger, I've traveled far and wide. I've had the best of teachers. You see, I'm not untried. And if I must make just one wish, my mind is clear and free. For rather than own all the world, let me but myself be. I'd just like to leave everybody saying, you are an integral part of the puzzle piece of this planet. You're not here by happen chance. It's time to step up and share your radiant light with the world. Thank you.
Wow. So well said, Claire. Thank you. Honored that you're here.
Thank you. Thank you, Joan.
All right, Celestine.
Yes. So to finish up on my end, you can reach me at celestinestar.com. You can also reach me at the Galactic Earth Council.com, and that is where you'll find a lot of celestial videos and talks. And I actually have photographs I've taken of beautiful celestial skies in which there's interaction with star people. You can join our Galactic Earth Council, which has been going on for 11 years. And there are so many of us that have had this wonderful connection with celestial beings in a very safe and sacred way. We do the Galactic Origin Sessions. We do the Galactic Origin Sessions so that you can recognize where you came from before you came to Earth. One of the things that was passed down to me through the High Spiritual Council, the Galactic Star Federation, and the Star Confederation was that people coming out to view the star people who are our relations didn't really have an understanding of who they truly were. So for the last 10 years, I have been doing this process that was given to me. It's an encoded transmission that takes you through the process of seeing where you were when you first came to Earth, seeing your Earth, your celestial family, going back to where you came from. And that's even more powerful. We look at your contracts, your agreements, and you make the decision, your divine self, whether it's time to release that. Maybe you've completed that mission. Maybe you're ready for something new. And then we connect you back to your human self. So you have the Holy Trinity in wholeness of yourself. You have a recognition of this integration that's going on, and you become then the Philosopher's Stone. We also do celestial activations. As I said before, it's not so much for people doing pain management, which I did for over 40 years with my Papillon Life Services. And I continue to do where it's necessary, but the celestial activations are for those who are on the path that have some idea of who they are, and they're needing some guidance. Perhaps they're asking to be a teacher-student relationship where we teach each other. There is no teacher only. It's an exchange always. Metaphysics, esoteric sciences, things like that, taking you deep into the metaphysical world. And in order for you to complete some of the mystery, some of the mystical qualities that you need in order to fulfill the divinity, to awaken the divinity within. I do some trauma management work, and again, you can contact me at celestinestar.com. I also have the Golden Life Wisdom. I wrote an ebook, and that is called Golden Life Wisdom, the Meditation of Manifestation. And this was given to me by Meso, Keeper of the Books of the Seventh Council. I'm with the Golden Council of Light. And so Meso gave us the way to allow people to understand how to manifest in the world. If you understand how to how the manifestation of life through the connection with creation is, then you can live without fear because you understand how that process is happening. So we take you through the process, and you can go straight to goldenlifewisdom.com and sign up for the ebook. It will download instantly for you, and you can get started. You can call me if you need to have some reassurance or guidance in that matter, but that ebook is available for everyone for free. So that's what I would say, and I'm so honored to be here in the highest light of the one. Glory in the light of the radiant one.
Thank you.
Wow. Well, oh gosh. Okay. This has been very incredible for me because I feel like I'm in the presence of earthlings who have stepped into their divinity, or in some of your cases, walk downs or walk in. But okay, you get my gist. I feel like I'm in the presence of all of us, including myself, really embodying exactly what we're teaching and embodying the energies that have so transformed our lives, and doing that work of helping others now continue that healing and transformation. And more important than ever, because our planet now is in this choice point where humanity is facing a choice, really, of ascension, or to kind of stay where they are, or shift into this new level. And so I feel like we are this, I was going to use the word torch, but they said no, use crystal bearers. It's like we are the crystal wand barriers of this new light, new energy. And it's really kind of fun to have our female energy discussing all of this. And I was thinking, oh my God, because I saw a few of the guys on, I'm thinking, oh, well, I wonder if we have the guys on talking about 5D, how different energy from that divine masculine perspective is going to be. So guys, there will be a panel of the male conscious presenters, because it's so important. There is a feminine perspective. So guys, my work is about helping you remember why you're here, your purpose, your mission. Something just happened outside. Don't know what that was. That's 3D because I'm in here. So anyway, so I help people remember who you are, why you're here, your purpose, and I actually help people stay optimistic and excited about their life. There's some special quality that I've been gifted of helping people really kind of feel more positive about where they're going and their potential to get there. So I'd say that's one of the best things that I do. You can get my book on your soul awakening and what your spirit purpose is here at joanofangels.com. Check out the YouTube. I've been doing a lot of videos in the last year, particularly of very inspirational fifth dimensional way showers is what I'm going to call you all now, the 5D way showers into the higher dimensions. So check out the YouTube and Miracle Monday, and just check us all out. All right. There's more than one way to get to the fifth dimension, although all the tools work well, but find that person that helps you feel your special gifts. So guys, I want to thank you all. If you're new to the channel or you've been here before, we're just so happy to see you. And please like, subscribe, and share, not just my channels, but my guest channels as well, because we are a collaborative group growing ever stronger. And book an appointment with myself or Victoria or Celestine or Claire. But it's time for you all to do the work. You would not be here. I love you all, but you would not be here if your soul was not ready to say yes to your destiny here on the planet. And so I love you all, and we'll see you all next time from the other dimensions. In fact, we're inviting you all to come in and play with us in these interdimensional frequencies. We'll see you next time. All right. Bye, everyone.